Hi, this is Jason Fielder with the Daily Forex Report for August 12th. Looking here at the US Japanese yen pair, I'm looking for this particular pair to range between 110.65 and on the lower side 108.95. And as far as the support and resistance goes, looking for some support to come into the market right at 109.00, and on the resistance looking at 110.40. Now this pair is I believe starting to move sideways. The bias I believe is still to the upside. I did want to take the time to take a look at a possible trade here. If you notice, we have on this particular session, during this session, we broke out of the range we had previously to the upside, broke through that resistance and just went really quick to the high side. Now, what I'm looking for is a break below this low. It has not done it. It's hit it, but it hasn't gone below it. And then also looking for, let me zoom out a little bit, looking for this high. If we get a break below this low, this 50 pip range here that's created, looking for the market just to move straight down through it. Now you could be asking yourself, well, that it looks great on the daytime frame, but on the lower time frames it could have stair stepped up, and what should we look at? So let's take a look at this particular area, looking at a lower time frame. Okay, on the 4 hour we have 2 bars, pretty much went through it. It did move pretty quick through this area. It did have a few bars here, but let's move to the hour. Okay, during the hour we did have some retracement pullback. It did move sideways along this resistance line, but for the most part, when it took off, it pretty much went through it pretty good. Switch to the 30-minute. Let's see what occurred on the 30-minute here. Let's zoom out a little bit, see what we've got. It pretty much took off. It had a pullback here. It did bounce around this area of resistance, but then just pretty much went up. We had a few bars here where it went sideways, but then it just took off. Let's take a look at the 15-minute bar. Okay, overall this move pretty much went as straight up as it can be for the most part. There really wasn't too much area of pullback. There was a little bit here, but then it went ahead and shot back up. So what I'd like to do, what I'm looking for, is a break below this low, probably around the 109.10, possibly to the 109.8 area. If we break through that point, we're going to go ahead and look to go short, and look for a possibly to exit at around this point. Possibly a little bit lower at this point. I'd like to at least get 50 pips, and I'll explain why here in a minute. Take a look at this session, at the session we're currently in. We've retraced up to this point, which is around the 109.30 area, looking for this to move back down. Now if we get a break below this low, maybe the 109.10 area, I believe we could just go straight down through that 50 pip range that I showed earlier. It just, on the day time frame all the way down to the 15-minute time frame, the market moved pretty quick. If you believe that the markets tend to repeat themselves, then this is a potential trade. This area is about a 25 pip area. So we've hit some resistance here and here. If the market does move down through there, that's probably where I'll put my stop, a little bit higher, 1 pip higher than this level, and that's around a 25 pip risk, and we're looking on the downside to get 50, so that's not a bad risk to reward ratio. So moving along, we have the Euro USD pair. Let me zoom in. There we go. This pair actually closed up for today. I'm looking for this next session's range to be between 1.4997 on the high side. On the low side, I'm looking for 1.4774. As far as resistance goes, looking at 150.80, and on support, looking for support to come into the market at 14800. Now, going to the pound dropped today due to some news. It continued its downward march, and I'm looking for this pair to continue down. I'm looking for the range to be between 191.57 and 189.06. As far as support and resistance, looking for some resistance to come into the market at 1.9100. That's about here. And on the lower side, pretty much looking for some support at 187.95 if we get a good move. Now the Swiss moved higher, closed up, but did pull back an awful lot before the close of the session. I'm looking for this session to be between 1.0960 and on the lower side 1.0799. I am looking for some resistance to hit at 1.1000 and support at the 10800 level. Pretty much the same level as this, right around in this area. Now, the pound had their CPI figures released. It was better than expected for July, but worse than expected year to date. That didn't help the pound US dollar pair any during today's session. And year to date, it was down by 0.2%. The U.S. had their trade balance out, and it was better than expected, but not by much, and it really just kind of whipsawed the market. Now, looking ahead, we have the pound has the Bank of England quarterly inflation report out at 5:30 a.m. Eastern Time tomorrow, and the U.S. has their advanced retail sales for July being released at 8:30. Consensus is that the retail sales are pretty much the same as last month, so we should see a little bit of whipsaw. If it comes out a little bit higher than that or lower significantly, then we should see that impact the market a little bit. Potential to get maybe 15 to 20 pips on that move. So until tomorrow, this is Jason Fielder. Good trading.